Everybody, excuse me, it's Patty the Tinkerer's wife here. I have done the dry run on the project and I'm going to show you the results of it. Oh, by the way, greetings to everybody who's here for the first time. This is part 2 of the toilet paper art series. And today what I'm doing is showing you my setup and showing you how easy it is to apply a wax like beeswax, or if you want to go a step up, do Encaustic Medium, which has a higher melting point, and you'd have to burn your house down to have it go away. Encaustic Medium is something that was discovered when they opened the tombs of the pharaohs, and they discovered the masks on the sarcophagus. Those were actually portraits that were painted by encaustic artists when they were alive. And with more research, they discovered that the ships, that ocean-going vessels, that they were sealed with encaustic medium, which it's beeswax and damar resin, which is a resin from a tree. And I will at some point be doing a little demonstration about our, kind of the show and tell about what those things are. But that's not today, because today I want to just show you my setup so you can do this at home with even just plain beeswax. I do recommend you use filtered beeswax because you won't have the bits in it, and you can filter it through cheesecloth and very easily get about 3 or 4 layers of cheesecloth and filter it that way. You do have to heat it up. Heat it up on a double boiler, and it will melt when it starts getting up to the melting point. You want that to be pretty steady. You don't want it getting so hot it smokes. That's not good. It's not good for the wax. It's not good for you. And your result won't be as good. So you want to heat it up to melting. I think beeswax melts at 160 degrees. So having a candy thermometer helps. With this is an inedible medium where beeswax, you can eat it, but this is inedible, so it's gonna make you sick if you try to eat it. So whatever you heat this up in, needs to not be used for food again. So let me show you this piece here, this butterfly. This is done on masonite, and I glued a piece of inexpensive watercolor paper that was archival on the back of this, on the front of this, and then did the encaustic medium over the top of it. This is the plain and this is white, and it was going to take way more than what I anticipated to finish this, so I am going to have to crawfish on giving this away, at least at this point in time. I may save it for a future giveaway if I get to 2,000 subscribers. But anyway, I wanted to share that with you. It does have, the really cool thing about this is it will seal completely. These work well in bathrooms, believe it or not, because the wax makes them impervious to the moisture. And after a few days, you can polish it. You just get out like an old t-shirt, something like that, and you can polish it, and because it gets this kind of a haze on it, and you can polish that off. Also, you can rub your hands on it. I mean, what artwork can you do that you can rub your hands on? Isn't that cool? Well, anyway, I was going to show you a couple things. Some of you saw this in a previous video, this little horse here, who is very thin. You can see he's nearly transparent. Really looks like a piece of stained glass almost. Then there's this little horse here. He's a lot more stable. He could actually be used for a Christmas ornament. You could punch a hole up here in him and hang him. You could maybe put him in a frame of some kind. Very, very cute. Make a little card. 3-dimensional image. This is the one I really like. This was the tile. You guys remember the tile? This was actually a little ceramic tile. But this one, I think it's so cool the way the light plays through it. Isn't that neat? Yeah. But anyway, that's what that is. Now I'm going to show you how fast this goes. I've got this set up here, and I'll explain some things I've got going on down below. I'm going to drop this down. Oops, sorry about that. Oh, come on, don't do that. Now, I got to use the other hand to see where I'm at. That's one of the troubles with using something like this. Okay, oops, not far enough. A little more. Sorry, guys. My apologies. I do not have a cameraman, nor do I have a setup. One of these days, I hope to. I would love to have a studio with my bench area set up with a camera on it like a lot of the other artists and crafters do, because that would just be wonderful. What a spoiler that would be. Okay, so I have a very thin piece of embossed. Got the leaf pattern. Toilet paper. The embossing is done with water, nothing else. Now I'm going to explain another, in the next video, I'm going to talk about something else you can use. That's what I've decided to do. I'm going to show you all the different things that you can use to create these. And the next one I'm going to show you is how to use acrylic medium. So we're going to go cold on this. It's not going to be hot medium. It's going to be a cold medium. And you can do some really beautiful things with that. I've actually made some pieces. I've got pictures on my Facebook and on my Instagram too of a couple things that I've used, that I've done. They turn out just beautiful. But anyway, without further ado, let's get going on this. I have a pancake griddle here, and this is just hot beeswax, or hot Encaustic Medium. And I'm just daubing it on there. I could probably just do this because there's enough stuff on this palette here that needs to be sopped up. Yeah. This is just a chip brush, inexpensive brush. You don't use expensive brushes with this. Do not use synthetic brushes. Definitely do not use synthetic brushes. You will ruin them. They will melt. You will ruin your palette, whatever you're working on, that kind of thing. Okay, I'm going to run that underneath there. And I'm going to set this off here. What I really needed to bring was some parchment paper, because that's really the best thing to lay these out on, because they don't stick to the parchment paper. They kind of sort of stick to this stuff. Okay, so I'm going to let that cool for a minute. Explain a couple other things here. This is a surface thermometer. I'm going to pick him up, hopefully. You see that? He's a thermometer. Tells me how hot this surface is. The surface needs to be around, for this, what I use is about 210 degrees is what I find works for me. Some people say less, but I found for myself that it works best at 210 degrees. Now you can do this in a pan on your stove, a double boiler. Whatever pan you melt this in cannot be used for food again. This skillet cannot be used for food again. I don't care how clean you get it. These are just little tins, you know, that you get, like little cake tins and stuff like that. You can use cat food cans, old cat food cans, or tuna cans. Those work really well. So, okay, another great tool I have is this guy right here. Yep, you know what that is? That's an embossing gun. And that helps to, when I layer one color on top of another, like the white that I did on that over there, I had the base layer, which was the plain Encaustic Medium, let it cool, and then go back and put another layer of the white, and then run that heat gun over it to melt them together, to bond them together with heat. That's the burning in. That burning in is what encaustic means. So that makes it one piece instead of two layers, so nothing separates. That's a very important point. Okay, I'm bring this back up here. I know this was kind of simple. It was a lot simpler than I thought it was going to be, but you know, I guess that's okay. I hope everybody's doing well out there, that you are staying safe, and I Wow, not 10 minutes. I'm doing like, this has got to be the world's shortest one, right? Oh, I know what I could do. I'll do one in white. I've got one here that I can do in white. That'll be good. Because this one I can use for something else. I'll do one in white and you'll get to see the difference because this white is an opaque paint. So you won't see through it like you would the other ones. Yep, there we go. Now, one other thing I will say is that if you're using wax or a wax type product, you want to make sure that you don't put so much on it that it ends up filling in the grooves too much, because you can completely eliminate the look of that embossing by putting too much on it. And this white that I'm using, it's titanium white, and it's heavy, so it doesn't stay suspended in the wax very good. So I have to continually move it around, which is a little annoying, but you know, hey, it's art. Not everything's perfect. This is life, right? We know that not everything's perfect. These brushes, you do not have to rinse them out. You can leave them. I will keep this one brush that I've been doing the white in. I will just use it strictly for white. Let them cool, then put them away, and they won't get on each other. It'll be fine. So now this little guy that I've got done here, which I need to use this brush to get him up because that'll be a lot easier. Wow, he's hot. Him's a hot baby. Woohoo! He's hot. Hot. So anyway, the chip brushes, very inexpensive. I got a box at Harbor Freight for a lot less than what they cost at the store. It was amazing. You can find these at craft stores. Use a 40% off coupon. That's a great thing to do. You can find them at yard sales and at thrift stores. A lot of times at thrift stores, I'll give you a tip. They don't work when you take them to thrift stores. What's happened is whoever's used them has got them so hot that the diode in here that automatically shuts them off, it breaks, and so they never turn back on. So you have to remove that diode. So if you have somebody who's kind of somewhat electronically inclined, who knows what that diode looks like, I think there's probably something on YouTube about how to do that. It's got to be. If there's not, there should be. It is a safety measure, so you have to realize that you are going to have to be the safety measure and watch that things don't get too hot. I do know that this will burn paper, so you do need to be careful using it around paper. Keep it away from the paper enough. If you're paying attention, you'll be able to do just fine with it. So anyhow, let's see, I don't know what else. I'm going to clean up this palette as soon as I get off of here, but I just, you know, I'm really glad that I've had this time today to do this. I finally got it out. I want to be a little transparent here about, more or less about what's been going on, because I've been having back problems. I'm still kind of having back problems. And part of that is because I was spending a fair amount of time online. I'd also been doing some things in the garden that I should have had somebody else do, because I get absolutely stir crazy here. I've got no one to cook for. I've got nobody here to talk to. And there's really nothing on television. And the last thing I want to do is watch riots in the city, which is what they do. You're watching some kid's program, some movie. This happened Sunday night, and they broke in with news that didn't really even matter about what was going on downtown, and it just, I couldn't believe it. I was yelling at the TV. I was so mad. You know, trying to escape into a place, because we know how it is. It gets overloading. Well, anyhow, you know, just pray for those who have been involved. I would even say the perpetrator of the terrible murder. You know, he may be completely remorseful now. I know it was a terrible thing, and justice does need to be served. Justice, according to our system, does need to be served. But my prayer is that he'll get right with God. That's what I pray. That's the most important thing, you know. We face two different justice systems, the one here on earth and the one in heaven. That is my belief. And God is gracious, and his arm is not too short to save. You may have a family member that you think is completely unreachable. And I just want to tell you, they're not. God is faithful, and he hears our prayers. Just keep praying. So anyway, next time, let me just say this. Next time, I'll be doing the acrylic medium portion of this and show you some of the things that I've made using the acrylic medium and the painting that I've done. I used spray inks and then some other things to rub some high points of color on top. It really turns out pretty. It's not hard to do. It does help if you kind of have an idea of the colors you want to use. I would say copy others if you're unsure of how to use colors. It's a great way to learn how to use colors. Well, anyhow, that was just kind of a, a look at what's going to happen. I'm a little tired here after doing this a number of times. Here, I was having all kinds of issues. This is the first time I've done something like this. So I hope you will bear with me and watch as I grow, because this is a part of my journey is showing you this medium and other things that I know how to do, as well as the garden, which there will be more coming up in the garden, because I've got some trellising ideas I want to share with you and why I did what I did. Maybe some little design tips too. So anyhow, and also talk about some issues that I've had in the garden and what really was causing them. So with that, I am just going to bid you a fond adieu. Thank you again so much for being here and spending time with me. I do appreciate it. You are the reason I'm here. Otherwise, I'm talking to the walls. We're talking to the Ethernet. Anyway, thanks a lot, guys. God bless, and you have a wonderful evening.